What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Hit the Books, Season 4, Episode 27. Me and Mackie are here this week. No Jesse, no Ace. We are in the pretty thick of the NFL offseason, starting to get into some of these offseason moves. Guys going to new teams, cuts, trade deadline, or not trade deadline, thinking NHL there. Franchise tags, a couple other moves going on in the NFL. Speaking of deadlines, we have the NHL trade deadline coming up tomorrow or today, whenever you're listening to this. NBA is in full swing as NHL and NBA are both wrapping up the regular season. College basketball, we're ending up the regular season here. Just in a little over a week, we move into conference tournaments. But Mackie, how we doing today? Heading into a pretty decent week of sports with no football on. But we're getting into that good bit of spring where baseball is coming back. Things are kind of getting into full swing with playoff implications on the line in the NHL and NBA. But yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, we're all kind of fiending for baseball right now, which is kind of weird because about in 2 or 3 months, we're all gonna be, wishing it's not there
I
because
just love the day baseball on, like, at
yeah, I
one
know, I do
o'clock on
miss
a
that.
Monday, like,
I miss betting on baseball, honestly.
yeah,
Like the Nerfies, the first
first 5,
5s, just
that's my favorite.
yeah, but yeah, obviously MLB's coming back, it's pretty exciting. We get to see, some new faces on some new teams, and, college basketball, I think we're a week and a half away from Selection Sunday, so at this point, we're just kinda looking forward to that. Full swing of that. We get conference tournaments. Mid-major started this week. When we get the big power conference tournament start next week.
I
So
was watching Louisiana versus UL Monroe last night on my iPad.
I was watching Southern Miss versus like Coastal Carolina. It was just it's still fun to watch. I mean, it's conference tournaments. These guys go at it, and you
I
want
was
to
just
see
gonna say that's why it's fun, like, I don't mind I don't give a shit who's playing. If it's, like, a playoff sporting event, I can watch
I
it.
can watch it, yeah, and you want to scout these mid-major teams that you're gonna see in the bottom half of this bracket. So
Are you
um,
familiar with how the Sun Belt and some of those mid-major tournament brackets work?
So s what do you mean? Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
Like, dude, the
It's
Sun Belt, like, if
insane.
you're the bottom seed, you have to win, like, 9 games in a
Well,
row. You
if you're a
beat, like
top seed, you get, like, 7 buys.
you're in the semifinal, basically,
Yeah,
they
which is
said.
kinda smart because like, they need a bid. Like,
Yeah.
these guys need a bid. They need to win their conference
Or they
tournament
set it up so
to
the
get a
top
bid.
seed wins the bracket.
Yeah, I get it, it makes sense, but, I mean, it's just a gauntlet to get there, especially
Isn't
if you're,
that
like, a 12
JMU?
seed.
Isn't JMU the
What?
I think JMU's the number 1 seed in that bracket.
In
Like, they
what, the
don't
Sun
play
Belt?
until the semifinals. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd have to
I
look
was
into that.
that's 'cause I was watching Louisiana or UL Monroe. I assume that was one of the first games because it just started the other day.
Yeah, it just started, yeah. No,
So,
it definitely is, but yeah, those things are crazy, dude.
yeah,
It's fun to
I
watch.
never really paid attention to that, and then, I was listening to a podcast, and the guy was talking about it. I was like, "Damn, that's pretty crazy," but I then you think about it the way you just said, it's because they wanna get a bid, so they want their top team in the conference to win the bracket, so they just one more thing to add to their resume.
I mean, you get these teams that will go, like, 27-4, and, they shouldn't have to go through an entire shitty bracket, God forbid
Yeah,
they lose the game, but these teams should be in the tournament. They should be able to
yeah,
represent their conference, so that's why they do it. Makes sense, but, yeah, it calls for good basketball.
yeah, absolutely. So and then, we've had some news in the NHL. Like I said, trade deadline, is on Thursday this week. We've had some before we get into the trade deadline news, we had some injury news. Unfortunately, the New Jersey Devils, forward Jack Hughes will undergo season-ending shoulder surgery. How far do you think this young Devils team can go without him? He's obviously kind of the heart and soul of that team, but do you still have faith in this team kind of long term to make a playoff push, or do you think this is a major loss?
No, no way, no way. I mean, Jack Hughes is Jack Hughes. He's obviously the heart and soul of that team. Don't get me wrong; they still have their weapons. They still have guys like Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier, and guys. They're going to be able to put the puck in the net. But this team revolves around Jack Hughes for sure. And you've seen them sliding. You can even look at the standings right now, and they're not even a lock for playoffs.
I was gonna say, could you
You,
say they don't even make the playoffs?
I wouldn't go that far. I think they're still a good enough team. They have the goaltending to get to the
Slide to a
playoffs.
wild card,
But
maybe?
you could easily see the Rangers or the Jackets take that 3rd spot from them. They're right now, if the Jackets win their next 2 games, they're tied with the Devils in that 3rd spot. So,
I'm kinda
def
rooting for the Jackets, I like them. I watched that outdoor game. I talked about that on our live stream, that Stadium Series game. I was pretty excited for that, and that obviously, that ended up being, like, a huge success. I thought it was sick at the Ohio Stadium. I like it so much better when they do it at football stadiums than at baseball stadiums. I think it looks a lot better, and it has to be better for the fans because, like,
way better. Yeah,
It's just a better viewing experience. It
it's more
looks so much better.
dimensional. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
That's
it's
how
like a
I
s
feel about it. And I don't know why they don't put seats on the ground, but that's a whole different story. But
they wouldn't be able to
um,
see, I guess.
yeah, I mean, people would pay for it just to say they were on the
Yeah,
floor.
I
You know
guess
what I
you're
mean?
right.
But um, I like this Columbus team. I don't know. I could see this injury kind of slide them into a wild card spot, but I don't know exactly where they sit right now. Let me look at this
They're sitting 3rd spot. They have
in the Metro.
2 games in the Jackets, 4 points on them, so they'd be tied
How
if the
many games?
Jackets say again?
How many games?
2 games. 2
They have
games on them, 4
two
points.
games on them and your Rangers.
Yeah, but the Rangers are 6 points behind them.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, I mean, they're nowhere near safe, and especially with an injury like this, this could kill their season for sure, but I think they're good enough to still sneak into a playoff spot.
Yeah, I agree.
But their chances are gone right there. No
Yeah.
way they're cup contenders anymore.
Absolutely. Then I said some trade deadline news. Couple of the trades we've seen so far this week include Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gord from the Kraken going to Tampa Bay. Yanni Gord going back to Tampa Bay. Bjorkstrand did not play there before, right? I don't think so.
No.
I
No, he
forget
did
where he was
not.
before Seattle.
Where was
I'll have to look
Bjorkstrand?
that up. But
He was in Columbus.
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew Yanni Gord. Yanni Gord won
Yanni
cups
Gourde
with
came
Lightning.
yeah. He won a cup. Did he win 2 cups
I
there?
think he won 2 cups with them. I think that's probably why they got him back.
Yeah, he definitely
They're like, we
won.
need a depth forward. Fuck it.
He definitely
Uh,
won that last one.
Vitek Vanacek to the Panthers, Spencer Knight to the Blackhawks. I thought that was interesting, but you get Seth Jones back from that Blackhawks trade. They also sent a first rounder to Chicago there. But with those moves being made, is there anyone that I feel like every deadline there's always those guys that are like waiting on getting traded. Obviously, Erik Karlsson's still a Penguin, waiting on that news to break hopefully any minute now. Him getting out of town, but is there anyone else that I was thinking about that like everyone's waiting on the trade to happen or something?
I was gonna say, who are those guys that are on the verge? I mean, um,
Let me look it up. Let's see, because
I know Elias
I know
Pettersson's, like,
obviously Erik
kind of
Karlsson
being
and
looked
Elias
at.
Pettersson, but Elias Pettersson's been so bad. I
Who
think the
even
asking
wants him,
price is
right?
too low.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now. 2025 NHL trade deadline.
Is Malkin in
Candidates.
talks?
No. I
Who
think
was
at this all right, let's see here. Top NHL trade candidates. This is a 5 hours
in
ago. This is just for
Vancouver?
Google, so I can't really confirm this.
Brock
Um,
Besser,
yeah, Brock Besser, John Gibson,
Trevor
Yanni Gord.
Zegras,
So Yanni Gord got traded. Erik Karlsson, Scott Lawton, Brock Nelson, Kyle
Brock.
Palmieri.
I forgot Brock. He had an interview after their game last night on like right after, like on the bench. You know how they do that, and
Yeah,
they're basically just saying this is gonna be his last game. So I'm assuming he's gonna be gone,
damn.
or his last game in
Provorov.
UBS. Provorov.
I wouldn't mind John Gibson. Why won't the Penguins go get someone like that?
You wouldn't mind anyone in net.
He's from Pittsburgh too. Like that would be like cool. Like who gives a shit if we suck? Like I could spin zone it that way and be like, all right, well at least he's from
He's
here.
the
Like
hometown guy, right? Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what like they don't do anything. Brandon Tanev, that's another guy I wish we would have never got rid of. He's on they said Seattle would trade him. I'd bring him back too.
Seattle's
Yeah.
letting a lot go.
Yeah. They're kind of unloading. Was it last year did they make the playoffs last year?
I don't
I
think
don't think
so.
they did. Let's
Did
see.
they?
What was
Yeah,
it?
oh, they might have. You're
2024
right.
NHL playoff bracket. Let's see here. Images. No, they did not.
They were
Yeah.
good last year, weren't they? Or
Yeah, I
decent?
think they were like the first team out last year. Is this 2024? Official 2024 bracket. Yeah, Dallas versus Vegas, Winnipeg versus Colorado. Yeah, because Vancouver, Nashville. I was at the Nashville versus Canucks game last year. And then the other matchup was Edmonton, LA.
Well, didn't you go to Vegas? Oh, no. Yeah, you went to Vegas last year.
No, Nashville. We went to the Preds game against
Oh, I'm an
the
idiot.
Canucks, game 3.
That was the year the Knights won the cup.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been what, 2022
2023.
maybe? 23?
Yeah, it was the year before.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so we'll kind of follow any of these additional trades that come. We went through obviously some of the guys that are at least rumored to be traded or on that trade block, but we'll see what ends up happening. But and then we'll get into our power rankings here. In the NHL, let me get this pulled up here. We have the Washington Capitals sliding down to number 5, the Tampa Bay Lightning at 4, Toronto Maple Leafs at 3, the Dallas Stars at 2, and the Winnipeg Jets at 1. Obviously, Tampa Bay kind of gearing up, it looks like, for another run, making all these moves at the deadline, bringing back those guys that we just talked about. But um, how do you feel about this top 5? Toronto moving up and Washington kind of sliding down there in the past week.
Yeah, I think we still gotta give Washington their credit. I had them at the 2. I mean, they have the points there. They had that fat gap. I know they're not playing as well right now, but even when they're losing, they're still finding ways to get points. They're losing in overtime a lot. So, um, yeah, I wouldn't count them out yet. Obviously, we still have them in the top 5, so it's not like we are, but they're still right there. I think Toronto and Tampa are both juggernauts right now, going on a run. Gotta see Toronto win a playoff series for us to take them seriously. Other than that, just same juggernauts that have been up there all season.
Yeah, I think this Leafs team is very good, but obviously, if it ended today, who would they get in the playoffs?
They'd they'd,
You
uh,
They'd get
they'd get the
Columbus if it started
Rangers.
today.
Oh, yeah, they'd get Columbus, yeah.
You guys would get the Caps. Yeah, I don't know. I think
They'd handle Columbus.
yeah, they you gotta think they'd handle Columbus, but I like the I don't know. I like Toronto this year. I think
Columbus is
they
Columbus
but
is playing for a
Florida,
little.
do you imagine if we got Florida versus Tampa Bay again, which that would be awesome. Carolina versus New Jersey, I think Carolina would wipe the Devils,
Yeah, there's no way
especially with the
that's
Jack
staying the way it
Hughes,
is.
like what'd you
No
say?
way. I think there's no way that stays the way it is. Carolina 2, well, Carolina will probably stay in the 2, but Devils staying in the 3.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but we'll move over to the NBA. We had some big news with LeBron James becoming the first player in NBA history to reach 50K all-time points. LeBron secured his 50,000th point in a Tuesday evening matchup against the Pelicans. Lakers odds to win the title have been dropping the past few weeks. I know it was 1,600 like 2 weeks ago, and then dropped to 1,400. Now I saw it sitting at plus 1,000. I have them locked in at plus 1,100. Do you see the value in this Laker team to go to the finals or possibly even, bring it home and win the finals?
I would take them over everybody but the Celtics right now. I would. Why would you not? I mean, they've
You think they can beat Denver?
yeah, for sure. I think
That's their kryptonite. That's what scares me
no,
there.
dude, they have Luca. They have Luca.
And
They
that
they're
I
they're
mean, I get
they're
that. I think
locked
that's part of
in,
why they
dude.
got him. Like,
They're
that's a
and everyone wants to say defense. They really don't have any big men, but Jackson Hayes does what he needs to. They play a nice trap. They really know. They all
they're
they play.
fun to watch now, dude. With
They
that game last night, I know, like, New Orleans isn't good, but LeBron and Luka, they're the first Laker duo to go for 30, and I forget what the stat was. It was crazy. But, I mean,
they're
think
so
about some of the
fun to
guys the Lakers
watch.
have had, Shaq and Kobe, like, forget what it was. It was let me look it up. I'm gonna try to find it. It was on ESPN, so it's gonna be, like, hard to find. Let me
Luka
see.
and LeBron is just awesome, dude. You love to see it. You got to see Luka go through that Western Conference last year in Dallas. Now he's got LeBron in that Lakers team who's all bought in. I mean, you got Connect, who's a great asset off the bench. You have Austin Reeves, who's putting up 23 a game. This team's bought in. They're playing really good basketball. JJ
Yeah.
Redick has them in
Dude, he
line.
potentially coach of the year.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't think they'll give it to him because the addition of Luka obviously changed the entire season, but he knows what he's doing.
I'm trying to see. Alright, yeah, they're mostly just talking about the 50,000 career points. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about I forget what the stat was. If I hear it again, I'll text it to you, but, yeah, the obviously LeBron, Lakers, I think I'm all in on them. I wanna get a ticket on them just to win the West, because I am scared of the Celtics if we do get a Lakers Celtics, but,
What about
um,
Lakers Cavs?
that would
Get
be awesome.
LeBron versus hometown team.
Yeah. I've also been thinking about a ticket on the Celtics to win the East, the Lakers to win the West, and then I have the Lakers to win the final. But, like, the only reason I'm not doing both of those teams is because, like, that's what everyone and their mother thinks is going to be the NBA Finals this year.
Yeah, I could see something getting switched up here.
Like,
I
I
wanna
could
see
see
what
I
the
could see it be exactly what you just said, like, the Cavs beat them in 7, like,
Celtics are very
you
beatable
got
this
like, who
year.
knows? Like, someone could get hot and beat them. Like, they're not the big bad Celtics they were last year.
No, I agree, I agree. They're definitely beatable this year, and I know we're just saying this is regular season. What Ace says is kinda true. They don't really care until the playoffs. But
Yeah,
I
but, like, when they're going up against good teams in the cat and they blow a 25-3 comeback, like,
yeah,
that you can't do that.
that's
Like,
different. Those are the games that you're like, "Okay, they're balls to the wall this game. They still blew a 22-point lead." Were they on their home floor or no? On their home floor. Yeah. I mean, they definitely have their question marks this year. They didn't last year. I'm not gonna say they're gonna go down because that team is still unbelievable, but they're definitely beatable this year.
I agree. Yeah, I like I said, I'm also talking the same breath about taking them to at least win the East, but I don't think it's as easy as it was last year, but that's why I wanna bet it this year is because there's a little bit more value on it 'cause Cleveland's very good. You guys could easily knock one of those 2 off, but the only thing about you guys is you'd have to go through likely both of those teams.
Yeah, we would, for sure. And, I mean, we can't beat either one of them right now, so I'm not
I
even
was gonna
thinking
say,
about
yeah,
that.
just w in the I mean, we'd have to see in the playoffs, obviously,
Playoffs are obviously different, yeah.
it's
But
hard to win in MSG in the playoffs. That place obviously gets rocking for next playoffs game, so in other news in the NBA, the season for hell for the Dallas Mavericks and their fan base continues. Kyrie Irving tears his ACL. Obviously, Luka's a Laker. Anthony Davis on the shelf. Gafford, Lively. They have so many injuries. Yeah, I don't think there's much to say about this Mavericks team and really anything positive. They're a 10-point underdog tonight in Milwaukee. I took the Bucks on that one with the spread, but um, is there any positive way to spin this for this Mavs team? Kyrie only has a year left on his deal, like,
yeah, I mean, you think Anthony Davis wants to be there? Absolutely not.
no, I bet he requests a trade next year.
They're I mean, dude, they were in the finals last year.
Yeah, it's
You know,
crazy.
you think
It's
you lose
all-time bad turnaround season, like,
you lose to one of the best teams of our recent history in the finals, and you're like, "Okay, it's fine. We can just build around this. We'll be back next year."
literally, they act like, I don't think it would have been as crazy, like, it would have been, like, I'm not saying this wouldn't be crazy if the Mavs were as good as the Celtics were last year and lost in the finals. Like, if you're the team that's favorited in the finals and you lose in 5 games and you're like, "Well, it didn't fucking work. What
Yeah, if you wanna
happened? We
try
need to
something
fix
out,
this.
yeah,
We
mhm.
gotta try something, like, we were supposed to win. That was our chance. We blew it to
But
a."
they were just happy to be there, honestly.
Exactly, like, no one thought they were gonna beat, um, I'm I think Minnesota was favored in that Western Conference Final Series. Obviously, I wanted Minnesota,
And
but
then they beat OKC too.
yeah,
So, I mean,
no one
they
thought they were gonna beat the Thunder, and no one thought the Timberwolves were gonna beat the Nuggets. Everyone thought it was gonna be Nuggets Thunder in the West,
yeah.
and then it
Yeah,
ended up
they
being Mavs Wolves.
that like, it was like a 7-month turnaround where it was just like, what happened with the
Yeah, it's like,
team?
what are you guys doing? Like, I don't even know what the vision could be. They keep saying it's to win now. Well, now everyone has torn ACLs and
Well,
shoulders that are out of this
you
pocket.
can't account for the injuries, but I still don't think, like, AD and Kyrie was the recipe to go through the Western
2 guys that
Conference.
are known for being injured to win now.
I understand the whole you don't wanna sign I don't understand it, but okay, I can justify you don't wanna sign Luka to the supermax, and if you don't wanna do that, you might as well get what you can for him right now. Okay, you wanna do that? That's fine. First of all, it's Luka Doncic, you coulda got more than Anthony Davis for him. I'm not even demoralizing Anthony Davis, I'm just saying Luka Doncic
They
is
coulda got anyone not named Wemby, Ant, Shy, like any of those young stars.
I I think you can get Ant and Shy for Luka.
Yeah, there woulda had to been some.
I don't know if they would've, but at the end of the day, I think it's a
I just think
possibility.
those
You're gonna
teams would be like, "We'd
if
rather
somebody
stick with our
no
guy,"
matter
like, because
no
of
matter
that reason, look how pissed the fan base is.
yeah. I mean, dude, Nico Harrison's lost everything over there. But, I mean, you're gonna tell me any GM is gonna sit there and be offered Luka and not think about it for at least a little, unless
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Wemby. I think Wemby's the only one that they'd have to be like, "No, we can't."
Yeah, the Spurs would be like, "No, no, no,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
fine."
I'm flattered, but no.
Yeah. I don't know,
I
he's
don't know.
25 years old, like,
I think they coulda done better for him. I think that the Lakers
dude, they coulda got 6 first-round picks if they wanted to.
I think the Lakers definitely knew that they wanted to get rid of him, and they were
I saw someone say Nico Harrison did this trade, so whenever he gets fired from the Mavericks, he has a lifetime job with the Lakers.
yeah, it also he's just inside job for the Lakers. Yeah, you wouldn't
But
be surprised, right?
yeah, speaking of the Lakers, they're back in our top 5 again on the power rankings. They're definitely contenders this year. Good top 5 this week with your Knicks at 5, Lakers at 4, Celtics sliding down to 3, the Cavs at 2, and the Thunder sitting at that 1 spot. Um, obviously 3, obviously the probably biggest market teams in the NBA in this top 5, and then you get that Thunder who've been the most consistent team all year. Cleveland right there with them, leading the way in the West and the East there. But how do you feel about this top 5? How do you feel about your Knicks' chances going forward?
I think it's a good top 5. I think that you can't put anyone over the Knicks, but I don't think the Knicks could beat anyone in front of them. I think that they're kinda in that
What do you mean? Oh,
they're in
you
that
mean like you couldn't put anyone else at 5, but the Knicks shouldn't be at 4?
right, like,
Yeah,
they're
I
in
know what
that
you mean.
bubble where, like, they're better than the rest of the league, but they're
Those
not
top
good
4 are
enough.
like the good teams that everyone's like, these are the
Yeah,
contenders. These are going to be the conference finals team.
right. Knicks aren't quite there yet, but they are better than everybody else, so I I I I guess I can't be upset about it. I guess the potential is there, but, they have a lot of work to do to catch up to these 4 teams.
Yeah,
With that being said, if OKC wasn't 51-10, I would probably have the Lakers over them as well. Um,
that's what I said. Yeah, if
like,
their record wasn't so crazy,
tomorrow I'm taking the Lakers over everyone but the Celtics, like I said,
yeah.
but power rankings are power
The
rankings.
Lakers play your Knicks tomorrow. It's funny you say that.
Yeah, we'll see. That's a big game, actually. We'll see what happens there. See how the Knicks could play. I hope his cat's been a little banged up, so hopefully he's
Lakers
gonna
have a
be
tough little
active.
2-game stretch coming up here. Knicks, Celtics.
And they just, who'd they just play? Oh, yeah, the Pelicans.
They're on an 8-game heater.
Gonna be very telling for this team in the next 2 games.
Yeah, especially yeah. I was gonna say 2 tough road. They are both on the road, right?
Who they,
Celtic or Lakers
no,
next 2
Lakers
games.
play the Knicks at home, and
All
then
right,
they
so it's in
get the
LA, then at
Celtics.
the Celtics.
Yes, in Boston at the Celtics. That sucks. Gotta go across the country.
Yeah, but it's on Saturday night. But yeah, that's solid power rankings there in the NBA. Obviously, we move forward. I don't think like I mean we could go through some of these standings, but I really don't think much is going to change in this playoff picture for the NBA. I think there might be some shuffling, but obviously the way the playoffs set up in the NBA, like with the play in, there's so many teams. Really, the only team that we could talk about right now making it or not, I would say Dallas slides out. And even though Phoenix has been terrible, I think they're going to have to find a way to get them in the plan.
I think it's just disgusting how the Sixers are 21-40 and they're sitting 2.5 games out of a play-in game. That Eastern Conference is gross down towards the bottom. 24-38, the Bulls, 14 games under 500, and they're
29 and
sitting
31, the Heat are in a play-in spot.
what'd you say?
I said
29 and
29 and
31.
31, the Heat
Which
are in a
that's
play-in.
okay, that's not terrible. Like, that's bad, don't get me wrong, but it's not, like, the end of the world. Chicago, 14 games under 500. You should be looking towards the lottery at this point. They're sitting
Yeah.
here in a play-in game. I'm not a massive fan of the play-in, but, um,
I
let's look
think
at
there
the
should be one playing game. There shouldn't be a play-in tournament.
8-9.
Exactly. It should be the 8 plays 9, winner, you're in. Like,
Or no, I think, the 9 seed should have to
you'd have to
win.
win twice.
Yeah. Yeah,
There shouldn't be 4 teams that make a play-in tournament.
it's
There should be
ridiculous. I
7
mean,
teams that make the playoff, 2 teams that make the play-in. And instead they have 6 and 4.
didn't they do this
But
for COVID?
huh?
They did this for COVID, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
And then they just stuck with it.
I think they did it. Wasn't there like a shortened season? So they were like, "We'll have a play-in tournament." I could be so wrong on that. I don't know.
No, yeah, I think it was just COVID, to be honest.
Yeah.
Crazy. But, yeah, a little too early to look into those, like, matchups and see who's gonna
Yeah.
get in.
We'll slide over to the NFL. Obviously, NFL offseason, we have some big news this past week. So we'll get into a couple of these. Matt Stafford and the Rams agreed to terms on a new deal that'll keep Stafford in LA. Was this the best fit for the aging veteran, or could you see maybe any of those scenarios that people were popping up say maybe have been better?
I saw Minnesota, I think Las Vegas as well.
Steelers, Raiders,
Steelers
yeah,
would've been
like
cool, I would've liked him because you don't really have when was the last time you had a quarterback like that? I guess Big Ben, but
yeah.
not since, like, Big Ben 2018.
My
Um,
luck, he would come here and just be like the old We'd just get the old version of him.
Matt who?
Matt Sat like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, his age would show as soon as he
Yeah.
gets
Uh, I mean, I like him in LA. I think that I thought it was basically a done deal he was gone,
I
and
think
then
I think it is the best fit for him, though. The familiarity with, like, Puka, he already has his target, like,
he
the Rams are the best team that contended with the Eagles last year.
yeah, for sure. And the only reason they lost that game, I think, is because of the weather, but,
And in my
um,
opinion, they're still the favorite to win that division.
yeah, they gotta build up that, I mean, I guess the defense played very well down the stretch, or, like, the offensive line that they had to build up. I think, he's been in the league how long at this point? He he's in LA, he's won his ring. He don't wanna go anywhere. He'd rather
Yeah,
just live in
that's
LA,
why I
make
was
his
like, "Dude,
money.
why would you wanna go to, like" I guess Vegas wouldn't be bad, but, like, why would you wanna go play for the Giants?
He's gotta move his family and
Yeah,
everything, like,
across the country, you're going to cold weather, fuck that. I'd be like, "No, I'd rather retire than play for the Giants."
no, I think he's happy where he is. I think that's a good thing they found a deal there. I don't think I could see him anywhere else.
Yeah. And then DK Metcalf informing the Seahawks that he is requesting a trade. Where do you think would be top destinations for DK
Do they have
to
teams?
go? What'd you say?
They have teams that for
I
top
saw
destinations?
Packers, Dolphins, and Chiefs and Chargers.
Um,
Chiefs are just always put on every list.
yeah. That'd be pretty cool to see him in Kansas City.
No,
I
it
mean,
would not.
I think everyone would hate that. I would like it.
I mean, I like DK Metcalf. I don't want him to go there. I'd much rather him go to like the Chargers and like
Yeah, my buddy's a Chargers fan. He wants to see him uh,
I think Packers too, because
Kansas.
they have a bunch of they have Jaden Reed. That makes Jaden
But they
Reed a
don't have that
solidified
one. That's
two.
what Josh Jacobs was talking about over the,
Exactly. I think DK
offseason.
Metcalf will be a
And you
great
got,
one to
like,
go in
Dontavian
Packers.
Wicks, like, getting angry that he's saying this, like, it's true. You guys don't have
Start
that true one. You have a bunch of
DK
really
Metcalf's already used to that shitty weather up there in Seattle. He'd slide in right to a Packers, you know what I mean?
Jordan
The
Love that
Green
slings
Bay
the
shitty
football.
environment. Huh?
With Jordan Love that slings the football, like, they do need that number 1 guy where you could have these number 2 guys like Wicks and, like, Watson who can play really good football
Reed. They have
in
so many good they have
Jaden
such a
Reed,
good wide
yeah.
receiver room.
They're a great wide receiver room, but they only have a decent one right now because they don't have that guy.
Dobbs. They have 4 guys right now,
And
and
then
they
you
could
have
add a guy that would immediately be their number 1.
a quarterback who could sling the football. I like Jordan Love. I could trust him. And then you have Josh Jacobs in the backfield. That's a good offense. It's a really
Yeah,
stellar offense. And
yeah.
it's a tough division, so you have to you have to make moves. You gotta keep up with the Lions, Vikings even doing whatever they need to do. I mean, last year was a ridiculous year. I don't know if they're gonna be able to run that back, but I feel like
Yeah,
we've said that multiple times, and they just
yeah.
always figure out a way.
Absolutely. And then another wide receiver that everyone thought was going to be on the move. The Bengals have placed the franchise tag on wide receiver T. Higgins. I believe it's what most people kind of anticipated to happen with his case. But what do you think this Bengals team needs to do to get back to being contenders?
I think we all know what they need to do.
Defense.
Build that defense.
Yeah.
Um, I think they
I
should
didn't
have
think
been
this was a huge piece for them. I didn't think they were that much better of a team with or without him. And
yeah,
that's not downgrading how good of a player he is. I don't think he's what makes the Bengals that good.
I just think it takes a little it eliminates being able to double Jamar every single play.
Every, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does
They
a
could have
little
done
more
that with,
for that, but, I mean, the Bengals are a playoff team. Even last year, they were a playoff team. They lost to the Patriots in the first week of the season, ended up being the reason they didn't make the playoffs. They had a few other weak losses down the stretch. They lost that game to the Commanders, who obviously ended up being way better than we expected, but that was another game where we were like, "What the fuck? This is a game that Joe Burrow needs to win." Started the season 0-3, just missed the playoffs. That's still a playoff team regardless of how bad
yeah,
that defense is. They just if they really wanna be contenders for a Super Bowl, they do need to build that defense.
yeah. And then the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles have re-signed linebacker Zach Bond to a 3-year, $51 million contract. They've also restructured. Was it? I don't know if it was restructured, or re-signed Saquon Barkley to a 2-year, $42 million contract. Is this Eagles team gearing up to go back to back?
It I think it was an extension,
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but
restructure like
yeah. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, they're definitely the best team in the NFC, if that's what we're asking.
yeah.
Um, 20 what is that? 20.6 million a year.
I mean, the past how many years it's
We've
been
been Dude, they've been
Running
lucky
backs
to
don't get
get.
paid, running backs don't get paid. He single-handedly goes to an Eagles team that lost in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, is the major difference, and they win. I mean, if that doesn't show teams how important a good offensive line, good running game is, I don't know what does.
Yeah, yeah, but he's one of.
It's a certain case. The only other case you can compare it to is what the Ravens did last year with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but just a better
Even and
line.
the Packers, but the Packers don't have as good of an offensive line. Josh Jacobs, had a hell of a year, not downplaying Saquon, he had a hell of a year too, but you mix the best running back of those 3 mixed with the best offensive line of those 3, it's gonna be a
With
great turnout.
the best offensive line we've seen in years. I mean, that line was ridiculous, the holes he was running through. But don't get me wrong, he did his own work too. But I mean, top 2 running back, probably the best running back in the league, with the best offensive line, with a quarterback who can throw the ball and run the ball, a defense who's top 5. Yeah, I mean, it's just a recipe for success
Yeah,
10 out of 10 times.
yeah, I agree. And then the Jets have released wide receiver Devontae Adams. Could Adams be making a reunion with Green Bay? This is obviously the big rumor going around right now. They're saying that's the favorite for him to go to next season or the next team he'll play a game for. Do you think he will follow Aaron Rodgers to his next destination?
He just needs to hang him up, dude. I don't even know what he's doing anymore.
I think he should go back to Green Bay.
I is he really that good anymore?
Dude, he had some crazy games last year for the Jets.
The last, like, 3 games of the season where they were already out of contention.
Yeah, but I mean, the team is so bad. Oh, even when he got there, the team is bad.
The team's not bad if you think about it. It's a great roster.
I mean, there's just teams like that there that like it doesn't. They always
It's the
just have bad
Jets.
luck.
It's just the Jets. The Jets always have terrible luck no matter what. I mean, I
I
don't
would take
know.
Devontae Adams on the Steelers and make George Pickens a 2 right now. I would love
Would
that.
that even make George Pickens a 2 though?
I
Or
don't
would
know.
it just be
It
a
would take
1A,
pressure off
1B?
of George Pickens, I can tell you that.
'Cause I don't think Devontae Adams is to that point where he is that guy anymore. Don't get me wrong, he's a great receiver, but, like, are you taking T. Higgins or you taking Devontae Adams?
T. Higgins, that's a no-brainer.
T. Higgins is 2.
Yeah, on the with arguably the best receiver in the NFL with
Yeah, but T. Higgins would be a 2 on at least over 70% of the teams, I would say.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I think he still has a lot to offer in the league, but he's
I think he'd be
definitely
great on
time's
like a
running out
if you
quick,
could get him on
man.
like a he's made so much money the past 3 years jumping team to team.
Yeah.
If you could get him
Running
on like
that
a
game.
cheap 1 year, let's just see how good you are and then we'll pay you next year kind of prove it deal. I think he's so worth it.
Get him on a cheap 1-year deal to Kansas City.
1 year, 10,000,000, like
That's what
I
I'm
mean, he was making
saying.
37,000,000 last year, and he's still a number 1, number 2 or wide receiver, so you're gonna have to give him at least 10,000,000.
Yeah. It'll
But
be interesting to see where he goes. I don't
yeah,
really have any
I think he's
thoughts on
also a
it.
good target for like a team that's gonna draft a young quarterback. Like, just go get a guy that's
Get a
like,
guy
all
to
right,
throw the football to.
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Like, have a safety blanket.
Like say the Titans draft Cam Ward, they could just throw a bag at Devontae Adams, and be like, "Here's 20,000,000, please come play with
Help
him."
him out a little. Yeah, help him
Yeah.
develop. I like that.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for the NFL. Obviously, we'll stay tuned, obviously, all offseason with free agents, any trades that go on. Another one, Bears got Joe Tooney off the Chiefs. There's not much to say there, but and then they got another offensive lineman. They're gearing up that offensive line to protect Caleb there, but not much else going on in the NFL, NBA, or NHL. We kind of went through everything. MLB, make sure you tune in next week. We'll do our 2025 MLB season preview. We'll be going through all the divisions, division winners odds, player awards, any other futures that we like heading into the MLB season. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna wait on that because we figure Ace would, really want to be a part of that and give his opinion. Looking forward for the MLB season here, but yeah, and then college basketball, we've been kind of heating back up on the card. We've had a pretty good week there. Conference tournaments, obviously, like we talked about coming up, but Auburn going down. Anything else you want to talk about in the world of college basketball, Mackie? You have your rankings for this week.
No, what do you think about Auburn and Duke now with that number 1 seed, with Auburn going down yesterday?
I almost bet Duke last night to win the national title.
Really?
Yeah, not because of that game.
I just think that.
I've been wanting to bet Duke, and I think that now that just happened, I bet is Duke the favorite now?
I don't know, but this is a terrible time to bet Duke.
I agree. I don't know.
I don't know. I have to look into it. I think
I
Auburn's
saw
gonna
a
be.
video today. Someone said you won't. I mean, I don't know how you'll feel about this. Someone said, "Is St. John's just Indiana football of college basketball?"
Dude, I said that to my boys too. Duke is plus 350, Auburn's plus 370. Um,
Would
that
you
was a
say those odds again?
Duke's plus 350, Auburn's plus 370.
I want to take Duke.
That that thing about St. John's might just be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, just
Because, like,
I thought it was so funny
don't
though.
get me wrong, they could lose first round, and everyone's gonna say I'm an idiot for saying that, but
They're not gonna lose.
they're not. They're not. In Indiana, first of all, it's a completely different sport. You can't compare the two. You have Big Ten, who Indiana's playing literally Northwestern, like those teams. They play the shit end
Yeah,
of the Big Ten over there. They like St. John still has to play like good teams. They have to play, and when you're on
they're in
the
the Big
road,
East. I mean, it's a down year for the Big East, but they're still a good team.
and when you're on the road in the in college basketball, it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's a tough matchup, and they have
Yeah,
4 losses by a combined 7 points on the season. Losses to like Baylor. Who else did they lose to? I think they lost to Creighton. Like top teams, they're only losing. They're 3-4 in quad one, which obviously isn't the best. But all of their losses are quad one. They have I think the best defense in the entire country at this
they
point.
probably do. Yeah.
So absolutely not. It's a ridiculous statement. I don't think that they're as good as they are ranked. I don't think they're a top 6 team in the country because they can't score the ball like other teams can. But they're definitely up there. They're an Elite 8 team in my opinion.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then make sure you're staying tuned to our social media. We'll get plays out there. We got 3 going tonight on the world of college basketball. Getting ready for this. I was gonna almost said Auburn, Alabama versus Florida game tonight at 7 o'clock. We got to play on that. By the time you're listening to this, that play will be over. Just make sure you're staying tuned to our social media. HitTheBooks.pod, HitTheBooks_pod on Twitter. Getting all of our college basketball plays out there. Over just over, I think, what, Mackie, 11 units right now, sitting around 11 units in the world of college basketball. NHL plays, NBA plays going on all cylinders. And then MLB, obviously, Thursday, March 27th, I believe it is, for MLB opening day. We'll be getting the MLB card fired up as soon as we can, as soon as we start taking some plays there. But make sure you're staying tuned, turn on those post notifications, leave us a follow. We really appreciate it. And thanks for listening. And we'll see you guys this weekend for a college basketball, NHL, NBA live stream. We'll get some games out there for you, get you some picks and make you some money this weekend. But thanks for listening. We'll see you guys then.